So, today we're going to talk about something that happens in the quietest, most desperate moments of our lives. It's this strange kind of formula, Not for making gold, but for turning, well, good intentions into really, really bad choices.
I want you to imagine something. You're sitting there, it's late, maybe 11:42 p.m. The whole house is silent, but your mind, it is loud. You're just staring at this bill, trying to make the numbers work, and they just won't. And look, this isn't some made-up story, right? For a lot of us, this is just a Tuesday.
And then your phone buzzes. It's a lifeline, or at least it feels like one. See, it's not some big, scary criminal offer. It's just a small favor from a buddy. A little thank you for your time. All he needs is for you to look something up, a system you already have the password to. We're talking 30 seconds of typing for $500. All of a sudden, that problem on the table doesn't look so bad.
Yeah, there's actually a name for this whole process. It's called the Alchemy of Desperation. We all like to believe our morals are this solid, unshakable thing, right? Like a rock. But the reality, it's a lot more like water. It just kind of takes the shape of whatever container you pour it into, or, in this case, whatever container you're forced into.
And what's wild is that this process, this alchemy, it almost always follows the same 4 steps. It kicks off with a tiny favor, then the math gets involved, which leads to a trap you can't see. And it all ends, well, it ends in a total collapse. So let's walk through it.
All right, step 1, the favor, or as we're calling it here, the information bridge. And what's so interesting about this is that these stories, they almost never start with a gun or a threat. Nope, they start with access to information.
I mean, think about it, right? Maybe you're a 911 dispatcher. You're swimming in what basically feels like public information all day long. So passing along a schedule, does that really feel like a crime? Or maybe you're a lawyer, and you figure out the system always rounds up your billable hours. So you pad the time a little. You don't call it fraud, you call it flexibility. The key here, the absolute key, is the story you're telling yourself. I'm not really hurting anyone.
And that little story you tell yourself, it leads us right into step 2, the math. This is the moment that little abstract favor turns into cold, hard cash. Cash that solves very real, very urgent problems. This is the arithmetic of survival.
And boom, all of a sudden there's an extra, say, $3,200 a month sitting in your account. And let's be clear, that isn't just some number on a screen. No, that number has a job to do.
And this right here, this is the critical shift in your brain. You stop seeing the crime and you start seeing the receipts. You see a better daycare for your kid, one with an actual curriculum, not just a TV in the corner. You see the 12 million yen heart surgery for your mom that insurance said no to. Maybe you're even the chemist, and the chalk and dye you're pressing into pills, well, that's what's paying your bills. The math, it just works.
So, you slip into this new identity. You become a gray man. You're not flashy, you're not drawing attention. In fact, you are aggressively ordinary. You just blend in. To the rest of the world, you're invisible. But to this new criminal system, you've become an absolutely essential piece of the puzzle. A cog in a machine that runs on your silence.
And this is where it gets really, really dangerous. We're at step 3, the trap. Because at this point, you're not just some person on the side, making a little extra cash. No, you are the infrastructure. The weight of this thing you're a part of, it's become structural. You're now living in what our source material calls a cage of silk. And yeah, it's beautiful. It's comfortable. The money's fixed everything you were worried about. But here's the thing about a silk cage. The bars might feel soft, but they're still bars. And that door you walk through to get in, it's gone. Just look at how much things have escalated. I mean, it's stark. At first, you were just passing along a work schedule. Now you're actively downgrading a 911 call so a robbery can finish up. What started as just, padding a few billable hours has turned into being a key part of a legal machine that is designed to grind a whistleblower into dust. That little favor, it's become your entire function.
Which brings us to the end. Step 4, the inevitable collapse. And it is inevitable, because any system built on secrets like this, eventually it's going to turn on itself. It's going to look for mistakes, for loose ends, for weak points. And guess who that visible weak point turns out to be? Yep, it's you.
Discovery is coming. It's just a matter of when. And it's almost never some big dramatic thing that brings it all down. It's something small, something mundane. A half-eaten sandwich someone finds in a dumpster. Some sharp analyst who just happens to map your shift schedule against a string of recent robberies. And just like that, the alchemy fails. The gold turns back into lead,
and the gray man is suddenly very, very visible. So let's do the final accounting, shall we? On one side of the ledger, you've got the gains, or at least what felt like gains. Cash, a sense of security, some stability. But on the other side, the actual costs, the source material describes it as a sentence inside a sentence, or leaving a mother-sized hole in your kid's life. Total moral ruin. Turns out the math never really added up at all.
Because in the end, these aren't really stories about bad guys. That's too simple. They're stories about what desperation looks like, the specific shape it takes. And they're about the incredible, almost unbelievable power of rationalization, especially when you feel like your very survival is on the line.
Which leaves us with one last question to think about. We all like to believe we have a line we would never, ever cross, a price we never pay. So I'll ask you, what's the favor, that tiny, harmless little compromise that you're so sure you'd never say yes to?